Happy Saturday afternoon, evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Elan's Matchup Maximizer, a podcast presented by Keeping Karlsson, where I, Elan Dubrovsky, take a look at next week's NHL schedule to try to help you come up with players that you can target to maximize your games played and hopefully pick up a W in your head-to-head league. As always, we're not looking to grab players who are playing on busy days like next Thursday or next Saturday, because you're going to be picking that guy up just to sit on your bench. We're looking at people with good off-day schedules that will hopefully also actually pick up some points. Last week, we were okay, I guess, with, I went through. At the end of the day, I like to think of this as like I'm presenting information. I'm naming some players in good spots. At the end of the day, I can't predict a single week of production, but the three players I threw out there that I was interested in were Nyquist, who has had a good week. I think that was a hit. And then, unfortunately, Connor Zary, who ended up getting scratched for a game, and JVR, who also got scratched for a game. I didn't expect either of those things to happen. So JVR did well in the games he played, and Zary got an assist yesterday for what it's worth. But yeah, Nyquist is the one who I think turned out to be my biggest hit. And I mean, why not? Top line, top power play. At the end of the day, when you're playing fantasy, if you grab a guy on the top line and the top power play, especially with the red hot Philip Forsberg, you're going to do good. At this point, by the way, Gustav Nyquist is on a 7-game point streak, mostly assists, but you got to take it, right? So Nashville next week plays 4 games. This is going to be on the, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but like this is going to be only one off day game. Next week is a standard. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday are busy, and Nashville plays Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then the Sunday. But if you have room on the Tuesday and Nyquist is still available, I think at this point you kind of got to rush and get him. I think a general thing to keep in mind is, as much as like this podcast is specifically about streaming and trying to get the guys that fit your schedule and really gaming to get the most games played, you may also want to at some point take a step back, look at your roster, and just see if you have any straight up upgrades you can make. Like, it's okay to drop someone with a good schedule for someone with a bad schedule if the person with a good schedule isn't going to get you any points. Right? I don't know how much longer I can sit with Troy Terry on my roster, even though Anaheim has a lot of off days coming up for the rest of the season. I'm going to give him, I guess, another week. I don't know. What are you supposed to do? Right? But yeah, so Nyquist is someone I would take a look at, but I'm not going to be talking about Nashville today. Let's get into it. I'm going to be talking about the teams with the most off days, and the top team that fits that is clearly the Columbus Blue Jackets, because they play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday of next week. All off days. You're going to stream in a Blue Jacket. You're going to get all 4 games for sure. Unfortunately, Columbus is not like a team that's so easy to stream from. There's no names that really jump out at me. As usual, my sources here in terms of like who's going to be available to you, I'm taking a look at Yahoo's percent rostered, and then the amazing Cacupful percent rostered tool that Kevin built, where I can go and see in a serious league, like any of the divisions of the Keeping Karlsson Ultimate Patron Fantasy League. That really tells you, I think for most people listening, if this guy's likely to be available in your league. Like, for example, Boone Jenner is available in 47% of leagues, according to Yahoo, which is insane. Obviously, if he's somehow available to you in any league, especially with the schedule next week, you jump on Boone Jenner, no question about it. But at the same time, he's by the way scored in 3 straight games, 4 goals in his last 3. He's incredible. But yeah, he's obviously not available in any Cupful league or any like serious league, except for the most shallow of leagues. In fact, if you're looking at Cupful percent rostered, Marchenko, Fantilli, Gaudreau, Laine, Jenner, Werenski, all gone. Provorov gone in like 98% of leagues. So you're really going to have to scratch the bottom of the barrel if you're going to want to grab a player from Columbus. And really, like the players that I've just named, those have comprised the top 2 lines, the top power play in the last game. So like I will mention Marchenko. If somehow he's available, he's not available in Cupful, but if he's available in your Yahoo league, which he may be, like your buddy league, Marchenko's only rostered in 7% of Yahoo leagues. He's an easy hit, right? He's been on a line with Gaudreau and Jenner. He's on the top power play with Gaudreau, Jenner, Laine, Zach Werenski in the last game. Like, you go and grab. He hasn't been the hottest. Like, he had a goal and an assist versus Chicago, but aside from that, Marchenko's been pointless in 4 of his last 5 games. But still, with this schedule, he's an easy hit, and I'm not going to count him. The threshold I've set for myself as far as like a player who I'm going to recommend as like my streamer of the week or whatever, he's got to not be rostered in 100% of Cupful divisions. I'm going to say like less than 80, okay, which makes it really hard because obviously the people who are playing Cupful know what they're doing. But yeah, so if I'm going to pick a guy from Columbus, like I guess guess you can look. I did say that the top 6 is taken. That's not fully true. In the last game, Line A and Fantilli, who are both super cold, and I would like Fantilli might be a drop if it wasn't for this great schedule next week. So he's on my roster in the Keeping Karlsson Ultimate Patron Fantasy League, and I'm going to hold him. He's got this last week as his audition before I'm going to have to cut him if he doesn't do something. But yeah, they've been playing with Dmitry Voronkov, who is like maybe going to pick up an assist for you now and then. He's not especially exciting. I think if anyone is like interesting as a dark horse on Columbus, it's got to be Alex Texier, who's day-to-day currently, but he might even play tomorrow. I'm recording this on Saturday in the afternoon. I have plans tonight. Normally I record Saturday night and I get an extra day of data. But I don't go out too often since I've had this kid. So it's me and a bunch of neighborhood dads. And my sense from these dads is the plan is to drink like a lot. Like I don't know. I'm going to try to be responsible here, but at the same time, I don't want to look like the odd one out. So I was thinking ahead, thinking I'm probably not going to record this when I get home tonight. So yeah. But what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, Alex Texier might be back. It's just an illness. It's not like an actual injury. And he's on a nice little run. He's got points in 5 of his last 6 games. I'm seeing, I don't know what his deployment will be. Maybe keep a look at, maybe you don't have to rush to get him. Maybe Monday morning, you can look at gamedaytweets.com when the Columbus beat writer tweets out the lines. They're usually pretty good at getting us lines, and then you can see where Texier is playing. But I think I'll take Texier over Voronkov. So as of now, Texier is going to be my streamer of the week, but I think he'll probably be bounced though. 4 games is pretty good. So we'll see if 3 games for someone else becomes more appealing to us. Next up, we've got 2 teams that have 3 off-day games. And I should mention, Tuesday, there's 20 teams playing. There's 10 games. So there's a decent chance that you might be able to fit someone in on Tuesday. So again, like I always say, you need to look at your specific roster. You set your roster for the week and check where you have openings. And also for what position. I noticed in my Cupful League, I actually have an opening on Saturday, which is a busy day. There's 26 teams playing, but I have an opening only for a center. So if I was just thinking like, oh, I have an opening on Saturday, grab Voronkov, I wouldn't even be able to fit him in, even though I could have fit in Texier. So that would be Texier is also left wing, right wing. Well, okay, whatever. Jack Roslovic, not that I would recommend him. And he's injured. You know what I'm saying. Oh, by the way, watch out for Kent Johnson. He's doing really great in the minors. At some point, he's going to get called up, and I think he's going to be good. So as soon as that call up happens, if it happens somehow in the next couple days and he gets in on this great schedule, that would be huge. Anyways, right. So you got to check your schedule. But I think Tuesday you might be able to fit someone in, but I'm just going to focus on the off days being Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. But I guess maybe I'll also look at just guys playing Monday, Tuesday. But okay. Anyways, 2 teams with 3 off days according to that criteria, and they are the New York Rangers and the San Jose Sharks. Let's start in New York. They're actually playing a game right now as I record this, an afternoon game against the Bruins. We're in the 3rd period, and it's 6-4 for the Rangers. So a lot of points going around, though. A lot of them going to so Kreider, who you're obviously not going to get. Panarin's getting in on stuff. And then a bunch of randos. Jimmy Vesey has a goal and an assist. I see that. Eric Gustafsson, of course. Did you pick up Eric Gustafsson when we told you to a couple weeks ago? If he didn't, he's definitely gone. He's not available in any leagues for sure. That would be insane. Let me see on Yahoo. I didn't even look up for Gustafsson, but come on. How can he still be only rostered in 36% of leagues? Come on. What are these leagues? Of course you grab Gustafsson. He's been incredible ever since he's taken over on the top power play. But yeah, so who are we going to recommend? If we look at the lines for today, they've been rolling Zibanejad, Kreider, and Wheeler, and then Trocheck, Panarin, and Lafreniere. As far as Yahoo percent rostered, if we're looking at less than 50%, we've got Keandre Miller. This is a rare case, I think, where Keandre Miller might be rostered more in Yahoo than on the Cupful. I wonder how many players are like that. Oh no, Cupful, Keandre Miller is 64%, so he's barely edged out in Cupful over Yahoo. But yeah, he hasn't been anything special. He's not someone I would recommend even with this good schedule next week, which is, by the way, Monday, Wednesday, and then Saturday, Sunday. So it's possible you just grab your Rangers player for the Monday game against Buffalo, the Wednesday game against Detroit, both home games. I can see a lot of goals. And then you have to decide Sunday is against the Sharks, though. So you get through Saturday where the guy is probably not going to get on your roster, but then you get that Sunday. So that'll be a decision for you to make on Thursday morning if you grab a Ranger. But I still haven't recommended anyone for you to grab. Who could you take here? I guess so. Lafreniere is rostered in only 42% of leagues on Yahoo. He's taken in all of the couple divisions. I would definitely grab Lafreniere if you can get him in your home league. Gustafsson, I've already mentioned. And then I guess we get down to taking a look at Blake Wheeler, who, you know what? hasn't been too terrible. He's taking shots every game, 2 generally shots a game over the past little while. He had a couple of assists versus Philly yesterday. Today versus Boston, it's now 7-4 for the Rangers. Holy cow. Who just scored? Let's see. Artemi Panarin from Zibanejad and Zach Jones. Oh, I have Zach Jones in my one of my dynasty leagues that I share with Victor, and I've been recommending to Victor that we should drop this guy already. But I guess Zach Jones, I don't know, has he earned a spot to last a little longer in our minors? Anyways, don't grab Zach Jones. But yeah, no points for Blake Wheeler today somehow, even though the Rangers have dropped 7 on Linus Ullmark. That doesn't happen too often. But yeah, I guess Wheeler's got to be your top streamer of the Rangers right now of people who might be available to you. Like, aside from him, yeah, no, that's it. I don't see any other options here. I'm not going to recommend Jimmy VC or any bottom sixers on New York. I guess you could take a shot on K'Andre Miller, especially if you could fit a defense on Saturday. It's something to consider, but he's been super cold, and no, I'm not actually going to recommend him. So yeah, I guess we're looking at Wheeler. So not the most exciting names from these teams with good schedules. It's always fun when you have a team with a good schedule and with some exciting players that are not rostered all over the place. But yeah, that's the Rangers. The other team with a really good schedule is the San Jose Sharks, who play Monday and then Thursday, Friday, Sunday. So it might be the kind of thing where, you could get that Monday game against Washington, or you could just wait and grab them on Friday, Sunday. But if it's a league where you just want to grab your guy, and you're going to get your games, maybe you're going to grab your Shark right at the start. The question is, as always, if it's not Tomas Hertl, who do you want on this team? Hertl, by the way, only 35% rostered in Yahoo. So he's obvious. Go get Hertl. Probably you hold him beyond good schedule weeks. He had 2 assists in the last game. He's been pretty good lately. Okay, so I know the Sharks don't score a lot, but Hertl is holding his own and being worth rostering in most leagues. So I'm going to assume he's not available. He's obviously not going to be available to you in any respectable cupful division. But every other Shark should be. The next highest after Hertl, there's Logan Couture, who's just on a bunch of IRs. And then you've got Mackenzie Blackwood down at 17%, and it goes from there. So who are we going to recommend on the Sharks? Well, one guy who's super hot right now, I'm not saying this is my official pick yet, but just looking through the options, Mike Hoffman is on a bit of a run. He's been on the top line with Hertl and Eklund, at least in their last game, which was yesterday against the Habs, where the Sharks almost won. They lost only 3-2. Pretty good. And yeah, Hoffman scored a goal in that game. He scored a goal in the previous game. He has 5 goals now in his last 5 games. This is on just 2 shots per game-ish, so it's not something that's sustainable at all. I'd love to see a lot more shots. And Hoffman's not on the top power play, so it's not the most exciting pick, but still a top liner with a good schedule who's scoring goals lately. Definitely worth a shot, I guess. Aside from Hoffman, I guess the next place you'd want to look is the Sharks' top power play. In the last game, it was Hertl with Fabian Zetterlund, William Eklund, Mikhail Granlund, and Kalen Addison. So those would be my next 3 picks. Probably you take Eklund even above Hoffman if he's on the top line and top power play with Hertl. Plus, Eklund's been pretty good lately. He had a goal and an assist in this game against Montreal. Maybe he'll be able to build on that a little bit. So yeah, Eklund would be my pick so far. I think I like Eklund also over Wheeler, and I think I like him over Voronkov or Texier. So look at that. Eklund, as of now, in my mind, is your streamer of the week for those 3 off-day games for the Sharks, and we'll hope that he can do something. And then, yeah, you could take a Granlund, I guess. He actually hasn't been the most terrible. He gets you some hits, which I didn't even realize that was a thing he did. He has 3 assists in his last 5 games. I guess he's been pretty terrible. I don't know. Okay, for the Sharks, maybe not so bad. Yeah, so I'm not that interested in Granlund. He is on the top power play for what it's worth. Okay, so those are all the teams that give us 3 or 4 off-day games next week. We'll still take a look at some teams that have good schedules to start, which is always something worth considering. So we'll be back to look at those teams in just a sec. You're listening to the Matchup Maximizer. Welcome back. Hopefully those were some tolerable ads that were pumped into your headphones. And now we are back to talk about some more teams with good schedules next week. I think I'm going to focus this segment on teams that start the week strong. Someone you could stream in to start, and then you can reassess. I'd like to get 2 games by Thursday. Through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'd love to get 2 games from a player. And then you could always then make a drop if they played the busy Thursday, Saturday after that. And like I said, Tuesday, you might be able to fit someone in. So if if you could take a look and see if there's a couple teams that play Monday, Tuesday. Those are the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Vegas Golden Knights. So those would be teams to consider, again, if you can fit the player in on Tuesday. But let's start with a couple Monday, Wednesdays here. Let's start in Washington. Okay, they play San Jose Monday, then LA Wednesday. So you always, perk up when you see that Monday against San Jose. I personally have Alex Ovechkin. Would love to see Ovechkin just go off for like a 4-goal game to make up for what he's put me through. So yeah, that would be nice. But obviously, you're not going to get Ovi. Taking a look at who's playing with Ovi, the Caps got shut out by Edmonton in their last game, so who knows if the lines will maybe get shaken up. You'd think maybe they would, but in the last game it was Strome centering Ovi and Tom Wilson. So Dylan Strome in a pretty good spot. He's also been on the top power play, and while Strome obviously didn't get any points in that last game against Edmonton, he did have a 3-game point streak before that, including a goal and an assist versus Buffalo. So I think Dylan Strome is a pretty clear streamer to get the Monday, Wednesday to start the week if he's out there for you. And look at that, Strome only 34% rostered in Cupful, probably even less, I'd assume, on Yahoo. 19% in Yahoo. So yeah, if you can get Dylan Strome, he's clearly your best streamer on Washington. I think he might even qualify. Maybe 2 games to start the week from Dylan Strome beats out like 3 off-day games from Eklund. So I'm going to upgrade Dylan Strome now to my streamer of the week. And I guess when Trev is like determining if I did well or not with it, I guess we just got to focus on the Monday, Wednesday. But then who knows, if he does well, maybe then you consider bumping someone else on Thursday, Saturday to make room for more streaming. So I'm going to count it. Dylan Strome, that's my streamer of the week so far. I guess another guy you can take a look at who's definitely not doing as well, but has a history of doing well at some point in his life. Evgeny Kuznetsov. He missed a couple games with illness, but he's back. Obviously didn't do anything in the game that he got shut out, but he did have a couple goals a couple weeks ago against New Jersey. He still has it in him, right? So Kuznetsov is another guy in Washington I would definitely take a look at if he's out there for you to start next week. If you need D, like let's say you have D openings on Thursday and Saturday, then I think you can't really ignore Rasmus Sandin at this point. He's having not the greatest season offensively, though he does have 4 assists now in his last 8 games, which isn't too bad. He does block a lot, so you get a nice peripheral floor there. There's been a lot of 4-block games recently, and he plays big minutes, and against the Sharks, maybe he'll be able to put something up. So I would take a look at Rasmus Sandin, especially if you can fit him in on Thursday and Saturday and actually get those 4 games or 3 of those 4 games. Okay, outside of Washington, actually there's no more teams that play Monday, Wednesday that we haven't already talked about in Columbus and the Rangers. So let's take a look at the Monday, Tuesdays. I could fit someone in on Tuesday. Maybe you can too. Vegas Golden Knights play Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Saturday. So if you could get the Monday, Tuesday, then it might be worth it to just get that early start to the week. And you got a lot of potential streamers over on Vegas. Like the guys that are obviously not available are like your Eichel, Stone, Theodore, Pietrangelo, Marchessault. At this point, William Karlsson, good luck getting him. But then, there's still a lot of guys there that fill out this lineup. You look at the second line, Stone with Chandler Stevenson and Brett Howden. And yeah, Chandler Stevenson has been pretty brutal. He hasn't done very much this season. He started strong, but it's been a while since he's been producing, which means he's probably been dropped. And maybe now's the time. Take a shot for the Monday, Tuesday. Hope that maybe Stevenson can start to turn things around. And if not, you got 2 games, then you bump him. Vegas plays Calgary and Edmonton. I don't know now if this is the new Edmonton that just shut out Washington, then I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, Chandler Stevenson, definitely a guy to consider for the Monday, Tuesday as a top 6er. Unfortunately, I don't really see anyone else to get excited about over in Vegas. No one really is on any sort of hot streak. I'm looking at average fantasy points per game over the last couple of weeks. No one that's still available here has over even 3. So yeah, I guess maybe you look at defense. Again, like I said before about Rasmus Sandin, if you have openings on Thursday and Saturday, then take a look at Brayden McNabb. I added him. I had openings on those days, and now I don't because I'm going to just fill up on Brayden McNabb for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and hope that he's had a couple games where he's had 3 and 4 a couple points even without an assist, and who knows if he could throw a stray assist in one of those games to hopefully get him by Monday, Tuesday, Thursday up to, I don't know, if I could get 10 couple points in those 3 games, I'll take it as a streamer if I can fit him in. So yeah, so Brayden McNabb is maybe someone to consider again if you have the space. Then we have the Tampa Bay Lightning who play on Monday and Tuesday. Condolences, by the way, to any poor soul who played Antti Ranta yesterday against Tampa Bay. A -10 0.2 in Cupful. I've never seen anything like that before. Just a brutal game. 8 goals against on 14 shots. Ridiculous. But yeah, Tampa Bay. Anyway, so who's going to be available to grab on Tampa Bay? Who's doing well? Like it's the typical guys, right? Kucherov is the one who just totally went off and had 6 points in that game versus Carolina. Braden Point was obviously good. So yeah, you're not getting Kucherov, Point, Stamkos, Hedman, Sergachev, Hagel. So then we get down to our friend Nick Paul, right? And Paul's still on the top power play. His even strength deployment has decreased. He was playing the last game with Tyler Mott and Tanner Jeannot, but top power play is top power play. And even though Nick Paul's not doing anything, that's why he'll be available to you to consider for Monday, Tuesday. So, these are what you have to play with when you're streaming and trying to get extra games. You can't always get studs, but I think there's nothing wrong with grabbing Nick Paul for a couple games. Hope he gets in on a power play goal or two, and then you'll definitely drop him to the curb after that. It's against Colorado and Arizona, by the way, for Tampa Bay to start. And again, kind of like Vegas, there's really no one else worth talking about. Like Tanner Jeannot, okay. He did have a couple games in a row with a goal, but he's not shooting very much. Like, obviously, if you're in a categories league with hits, then he could be golden. He could win that category for you on his own. Or if you're in a league where hits are just worth a lot. But, I'd still take Nick Paul over Tanner Jeannot in the cupful for what it's worth. The final Monday, Tuesday team to maybe consider is the Florida Panthers, who play Monday at Ottawa and then Tuesday at Toronto. So they're going by a couple of Canadian teams. And on Florida, it's you could look at the top 6, and in the last game, they had Barkov with Reinhart and Rodriguez, and then Tkachuk with Verhaeghe and Sam Bennett. So that's how things have been. Maybe Lundell's gotten in there a little bit. Sam Bennett has done absolutely nothing since coming back, aside from a single goal, which was on an empty net. He may have been dropped. People might be frustrated. I have him. I'm frustrated. I'm holding for Monday, Tuesday, and I'll reassess myself. But if Sam Bennett's been dropped, maybe, now's always a good time. When a player who was drafted high gets dropped, it's always fun to, pounce and imagine if he takes off. You could really have some bragging rights over the person that dropped him. And at this point, yeah, it's similar to a Chandler Stevenson stream. He hasn't been doing much, but he's in a decent spot. He's playing with Tkachuk, who we're going to talk about on the show tomorrow, because Tkachuk has been not as good. I don't think we've really talked about how disappointing Tkachuk has been, but compared to his draft position. But yeah, Sam Bennett still in a good spot. I wish he was on the top power play. Maybe he can get there at some point. Actually, it looks like in the last game for Florida, he did play. I'm just looking at it now as I talk here. Against Winnipeg, it was Barkov, Reinhart, Bennett, Tkachuk, and Brandon Montour for a lot of the game. So that's interesting. I wonder if that'll hold. Wow. Okay. Well, more of a reason to get excited about Sam Bennett. So yeah, grab Sam Bennett if you can. Let's see. He's rostered in only 15% of Yahoo leagues. Bennett down to 96% in Cupful. So he is starting to get dropped. So maybe if you're in one of those couple divisions where Bennett is available, give him a shot for the Monday, Tuesday. I don't think he'll count for my streamer of the week because he doesn't play enough. I think that's going to stick with Dylan Strome here, but definitely someone to look at again if you have that opening on Tuesday. All right, let's see. I want to talk about more teams. I guess I'll throw one more at you, okay? I think if he's available, you should maybe take a look at Matthew Joseph over on Ottawa. Ottawa plays Monday, Friday, Saturday. So especially if you're full on Tuesday and Thursday, then that makes an Ottawa ad pretty good because you're going to get 2 games by Friday. Then you could drop for the weekend. And Joseph is playing with Tim Stützle. And I feel like that's honestly all I should have to tell you. Oh, and Claude Giroux, who's not nothing, right? So it's not as if Joseph shoots a lot or is someone that you would expect to be able to sustain high production, but he has up to 16 points in 16 games on the season and is still available in a lot of leagues. He's available in my division, so I guess I'm giving it away that I have him on my watch list. The thing is, I don't know if I want to grab a guy playing Monday, then have to wait all the way till Friday, but again, I have an opening on Tuesday. But if I didn't, I'd consider him even more. But Joseph, yeah, only 7% rostered on Yahoo. I don't know what he has to do to get higher, but he is someone that I would definitely consider. And I wonder if he counts. I guess according to the metrics that I've said, he's definitely not rostered that high on Yahoo. If we look in couple divisions, he's available also in a lot of those. Only 28% rostered in Cupful. So yeah, you know what? Swerve right at the end of the show here. Matthew Joseph is going to be my streamer of the week. So him and Dylan Strome, I think, are my top 2, even though you're only getting the 2 off-day games. But I just like those guys better then your options from the Shark. Oh, I guess Eklund. Okay, so Ed Eklund, well, whatever. It doesn't even matter. Arbitrary and reductive to like pick an official one. Like up to you to decide in the end. But I like those guys from Columbus. Who did I even have there? Like Texier to maybe look at. So honestly, like Columbus, it's kind of a waste. Maybe someone's dropped Fantilli and then you can like pounce on him. I would definitely take a look at Fantilli for this week if he, the owner's been too frustrated. Okay, so those are your streamers potentially for this week. Hopefully everyone who's listening has found this useful and been successful. Feel free to let me know. We have a Matchup Maximizer channel over on the Discord for our patrons, where I'd love to hear from you. If you want to come hang out, by the way, with the if you're not in the patron Discord, we don't ask for much, right? $5 a month. Join our community, support the show. We're putting out a lot of podcasts for you. Hopefully, you're finding some value in them. And if you want to throw us a little, I think we get some pretty good perks with the monthly patron cast, which Brian did last week, and also access to our Discord, show notes, live shows. So check it all out. KeepingCarlson.com/patron. But with that, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I've got another podcast coming tomorrow, which I'm going to have to prepare for at some point. Usually I prepared that also on Saturday night. But again, like I said, I'm going out. But you don't have to worry about that. I'll have everything ready to go by tomorrow night. It's going to be a great show. It'll be fun recording with the patrons. You'll get it in your podcast feed Monday morning. And so, make sure you're subscribed for all the goodness, all the Keeping Karlsson content that we're going to keep pumping out to try to help you be successful in your leagues. So everyone have a great rest of your weekend and good luck in your next matchup. See ya.